Good morning, everyone. I'm John Handley. I'm the CEO of the Bridge Trust, and I want to thank you for inviting me to talk to you for a little while this morning, albeit via video and not in person. I'm going to talk to you about homelessness, about the Bridge Trust and what we do, but before that, I'm actually going to read you something. It's an extract from someone's diary, and I'm going to read it in his words. He says this: "Nothing, absolutely nothing can prepare you for this at all. It's unlike anything I've experienced. I can completely understand why people turn to drugs, alcohol, violence, even suicide. It's quite unbearable. I simply wasn't prepared at all. I can't sleep at night without my imagination toying with my mind. I wake up constantly at the slightest noises, and in the mornings I feel sick from lack of sleep and food." That's quite a powerful statement, I think. And it's even more powerful when you understand that it actually wasn't written by a homeless person, as you might assume. It was written by someone who was volunteering to sleep rough on the streets of West Kent for just 1 week to find out what it's like for those people who really are homeless. I think that's really powerful, because if it's that bad for someone like him, how much worse must it be for someone who really does have to sleep rough on our streets? Someone who is ill prepared, it usually happens quite quickly, and they certainly have no idea how long it's going to last. We help people like that at the Bridge Trust. We also help other people. But before I explain a little bit about our work, I just want to pause for a moment and think about that project which we ran, which included 4 people sleeping rough on the streets, and indeed the images that charities like the Bridge Trust and others use to portray homelessness. Rough sleepers, people sleeping on park benches, in shop doorways and what have you. But you'd be forgiven for asking the question, well, where are all these homeless people? Because we don't actually see scores of homeless people sleeping on our streets, do we? Not in our region. You may see more in London or the big cities, of course. Brighton, Maidstone, Canterbury, for instance, but not in the leafy suburbs where we live. And that's a good question to ask, and I have 3 answers for that as to why you don't see so many people homeless in our region. The first answer is that if I were homeless tonight, I wouldn't sleep somewhere where I could be hassled by drunks coming out of the pubs or moved on by the police or what have you. I'd sleep out of harm's way, somewhere in the woods or the dark recesses of an industrial estate, somewhere where I would sleep relatively safely. Not all homeless people sleep in your face. Secondly, rough sleepers in our region only count for about 5 to 10% of all homeless people. Just 5 to 10% of people are rough sleepers. Yes, rough sleeping is the most acute and critical part of homelessness, of course the most visible, but 90% of people who are homeless in our region are what we call sofa surfers. You may have heard the term. They find a roof to put over their head tonight, this week perhaps, but they soon have to move on and find somewhere else. They sleep on sofas, hence the name sofa surfer. The floors of people's flats and so forth. Just somewhere to keep a roof over their head for a few days. They are just as homeless as rough sleepers. The third reason you don't see so many homeless people around here is that, well, I'm probably bound to say this, is that the Bridge Trust exists. We house up to 20 homeless people at any one time, and people can stay with us for up to a couple of years, but they do come and go throughout the year. So in any typical 12-month period, we house between 35 and 45 homeless people. In any typical year, obviously this current year is not quite so typical, but a typical year we get between 150 and 200 homeless people applying to us for accommodation. And you certainly don't see 150 to 200 homeless people on our streets. So what do we do at the Bridge Trust? Well, we provide 2 essential things. First of all, we provide a home for a homeless person, something that maybe we all take a little bit for granted. But that is the basic building block where someone can start to look at their lives and start to rebuild their lives. But importantly, people come to us with various issues which have either led them into homelessness or are stopping them getting back to independence again. And we provide one-to-one support to help people through whatever their issues are, whether it be debt, substance misuse, mental health, relationship, or other issues like that. And sometimes all of those together for one person. We can't do what we do without the support of our community, and that includes, of course, our church community. We are a Christian-based charity. We started life in Tunbridge, which is where our head office has always been, from a few folks from Tunbridge Baptist Church, actually. So that's why we've always been in the centre of West Kent. But we can't do what we do without continued support, not only financial but prayer support from our Christian friends. And I thank you so much for agreeing to support the Bridge Trust. You have done in the past, and I'm sure you will do today and in the future. And we never take that for granted. And I just want to thank you for this opportunity, for gaining your support. And thank you again for your prayers, which I'm sure will be forthcoming for our work. Thank you very much. God bless.